don't need micros.
We will start now, okay. David is running, yes? Hello? Yes? Good morning, colleagues, good morning. And so welcome again to the Galician Press Club. We are here with a great honor for us to welcome you again, because it's new experience for us, a new experience for the newest Galician international present is only 1 year and a half, still a year and a half, that we've seen signing in London last year. And next year, the European Federation Assembly will be in Santiago de Compostela. Okay, of course, why not? It's a challenge for us, and we are so great and full of satisfaction for that. Apart from that, you know, something about our city, this magical city that is not exactly a real city, you know. Even you have been knowing yesterday. A ghost, a kind of ghost dressed in white clothes. People from the Middle Age talking about some legends and something over and over again about this special and typical and different city and original city of the world. That I insist is not all is real. That is not real in Galicia. You have to ask many questions, but probably no answer. But anyway, we are here for open this assembly. We have a meeting room for working so much. And you saw, after we have to make a photograph all together on the stairs, great stairs, but this beside our signal with our logos from European International Federation and also our partners, for example, a partner of Santiago Official School of Languages, and the Galician College of Journalists, and many people that are enthusiastic with this idea that is so difficult to go in advance. But anyway, we are here, and in this signal on the entrance they say House of Journalists. It's more than House of Journalists, Home of Journalists, because the journalists need a home to gather together. We have always a place for us. So we are here for defending of freedom of speech, defending our colleagues. Today, there is a letter in Washington Post for more than 200 journalists signed against the information in Gaza and Israel war, because some bias is not impartial sometimes, and the problem is the information, the clarification information, anyway. But I will not extend about that. Thank you very much, welcome, grateful for staying with us, dear family. I will call the floor as some of the colleagues from the several Press Club of Europe. First of all, I call to the stand to Martin Bond for London Press Club, who was the president just now. Okay, thank you very much, Martin. Yeah.
Thanks. Shall I come to stand up? Yeah, let me speak from here. It seems more intimate for a small group.
I think it's...
Thank you very much. It's more intimate to speak to a small group from sitting rather than preaching to you from a lectern. It's a great honour and a great pleasure for me as current president of the European Federation of Press Clubs to be here in your city and to be able to address you at our annual general meeting. It only comes round once in a lifetime. Actually, it came round twice for me, because 23 years ago, we held a meeting in London at which we arranged for all the members of the Federation to sign a declaration on press freedom and the responsibility of journalists. And when last year we held our latest meeting in London, and fortunately I was still in the chair for the latest meeting, we revised that text And I'm going to read to you a paragraph so that it is not forgotten and just lost in the files. It is a living text, and the key paragraph in the middle of it speaks very much to what Luis has just spoken about. I remove my glasses because I need those to see at great length, but I can manage more naturally on close text. The fourth paragraph of this declaration reads, "We extend the hand of friendship to all journalists who strive to maintain high standards of factual accuracy in reporting and intellectual and moral integrity in editorial comment, whether in traditional or online media. We pledge our support for journalists striving to maintain high professional standards wherever they may live and work, ensuring the flow of honest and fair information, which is the lifeblood of informed debate in all open societies." We're all signed up to that, all 20-something clubs now in the Federation, of whom a good sprinkling are here today. And I would like us not to forget this text, but that we frame it and put it on the walls of our offices and have it to hand to quote what we are about and what we wish to do. And in a funny way, the most important phrase, I think, is that we extend the hand of friendship to all journalists who are in this position. The Federation's great strength is that we all know each other across this European Federation. That makes the Federation infinitely stronger than any one national club. And it also gives that club allies in other countries for what it is trying to achieve within its own political frame. So, having said my piece as outgoing president, I'm very happy to lay down the honor that I've had to carry for a year or so, and to pass it to Luis, who I know is a very worthy successor, and to the press club here to carry on the succession which we kicked off to a new start again last year. Luis.
Thank you very much, Martin. We're full of responsibility for next year, okay. Thank you very much. And I understand some words to you, Julian. I have some problem with your name, Hilscher. Yeah. Please, tell me in German.
Okay, in German it's Hilscher. But
Hilscher.
It's not from any importance, so Julian would be fine.
You understand me more or less?
I do. Of course I do.
Okay, that's the most important, the communication. George Julian is president of the Berlin Press Club. Just some words for us.
Yeah, so my name is Julian Hilscher. I'm a senior editor at the public TV station ZDF, located in Berlin, and I'm the head of the Berlin Press Club. And our press club is working a bit differently like others, so this might be interesting for you to have some insights what we do. Some press clubs, like this one in Santiago de Compostela, run own rooms, working spaces. They conduct press conferences. In Germany, press freedom has a very high level, and we are really keen on keeping it because of our nasty past. So actually the allies, particularly the British one, took care of us that we got implemented a very cool media system. So we have a union for journalists, we have associations for representing our values, plus for protecting our rights for free research and free speech. The Berlin Press Club is different. We are an association where journalists cannot apply on themselves. We are choosing our members, so we are looking for super high-level colleagues, and we conduct only confidential background discussion. So if we invite the Chancellor comes to us for a dinner with more or less 40 persons, and we can receive information on a very strict confidential level, even more strict than Chatham House rule, which is better known in all over the world. And that the people come, ministers, Chancellor, Mr. Steinmeier, our president, should be a signal that how important this group is, because the politicians know that journalists need a lot of information, particularly nowadays when our work is so fast because of the internet and publishing 24/7. There is only rare time for deep background research, and in our discussions we can ask all these questions which are sometimes forgotten. The good thing about our participation in the European Association for us is that we can have a cool interprofessional exchange on our works, how people work in different countries, what their needs are, what their aims are, plus that we can get access to all these other clubs. For example, it happened last year when our dear colleague from New York called me or wrote to me and said she has a young colleague who will come to Berlin for an internship, if I could take care for her, and I could. So I invited her to our confidential background discussions, knowing that she would keep the strict rule of Chatham House rules, and that was cool for her because otherwise she wouldn't have had the chance to come into contact to our politicians so easily. And I know if I would go to London, I can call Martin, and at least we will have a nice cup of tea in your super interesting gentleman club, which is open for women nowadays. But so there are a lot of possibilities for international exchange and support, which I appreciate very much. So we are grateful to be part of this association. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed, Julian Histers.
Leave it with Julian.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Have to learn more German in your high school. Now it's time for Laurent Brière. On peut parler en français, on peut parler en anglais. Mais il vient de Bruxelles. Il y aura un jour très très conflictif pour les Espagnols in the press club. It's true. Yeah, it's true. Tell something about that, because you will be a little bit arrive so a little bit stressful, but after the talking with the girls and the dinner and your birthday, come on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting
Yeah, thank you.
us here in Santiago. It's my second visit. Finally, it's my annual visit. And I feel frequent visitors, maybe time to learn Spanish this time. And so
Please.
I'm the director of the Brussels Press Club, and nobody is perfect. I'm not a journalist. That's why I travel all the time with my president, which is a real journalist. Just a few words regarding the Press Club Brussels. It's a recent project for 14 years. We opened the Press Club 14 years ago. And we organize around 450, 500 events per year, and we have 1,200 members. Most of them are journalists. We have 300 journalists, but it's open to the diplomat. We have an active diplomatic platform with 400 diplomats. So each embassy pay an annual package, including free use of the space, access to the room, a communication package and technical assistance. And the diplomatic protocol is activated 40 times per day at the Brussels airport. It means that there is 40 ministers arriving each day, and ambassador, they ask us to communicate. Okay, my minister is arriving, Laurent, can we organize a press conference? Well, sometimes it's complicated, it's very short notice, and sometimes there is any announce. And Laurent, my vice president is arriving from Panama. She doesn't speak English. Would you please organize a press conference? Okay, what is the topic? No, just to say hello. Okay. And and we have, of course, lobbyists. So there is 3,000 associations in Brussels, and they organize regularly events to explain what are they doing for their members in Brussels. But it's always complicated for me to explain that we have more lobbyists than journalists. Mm-hmm. But it's the case. And in fact, yesterday it was a bit strange for me because I change regularly the channels on the television, and I feel always in my office. I was in the lounge in Barcelona, and I was always talking with my team, And I said, Monsieur Puigdemont, il est là, il est arrivé. He said, Laurent, etc. And the guys around me, this guy was Puigdemont. He's always discussing about Puigdemont, and finally, but we had a Puigdemont effect on our activities when he decided 5 years ago to organize this press conference at the press club. It gave us an opportunity. Well, 300 journalists attended this press conference, 80 cameras. So it gave us a real worldwide visibility, and not only for us, but just for Brussels. That's why people are coming in Brussels to communicate from Brussels. And but no, we expect to work closely with Luis to launch common initiatives, and we will try to activate the financial support from the EU. And well, but EU is nobody's recording, huh?
No, it's streaming, broadcast streaming. So
EU,
people are watching you from
EU
Brussels now. Yeah.
EU is like a lotto, huh?
Yeah.
If you don't play, you never win. If you never ask money to the EU, you never receive
Of
it,
course,
huh?
of course.
That's, well, no, we can. It's okay. But you start your presidential activities, so,
We will work
I
so
will,
hard for you put together of all the orchestra of the European Federation Press
Okay.
Club. I will shortly call to the stand for to share briefly for the rest of the colleagues. Please, s'il vous plaît, Isabelle Falconière, seulement une minute pour parler à les collègues, parce que je pense que il n'y a pas beaucoup de temps pour prendre le train ou l'avion. Viens ici. Si, une minute, oui, une minute. Non. Isabelle Falconière de la presse de Genève, en Switzerland.
Hi, good morning.
Well, in English,
my
yeah.
name is Isabelle Falconier, so I'm the executive director of the Geneva Press Club. Club Suisse de la Presse is the other name, which really indicates that we really have two different work field. In Geneva, with the Geneva Press Club, we opened 27 years ago, intended to be useful to International Geneva, what is called International Geneva, ONGs and missions in Geneva. But we are also the Club Suisse de la Presse. We're here also to serve the journalists in French-speaking Switzerland. I'm succeeded this summer to Pierre Rucci. Some of you, of course, met him in Geneva or in London or elsewhere. So I'm very new at this function, so I'm here to learn and see what this federation is doing. I will be so happy to join any collective, common initiative. Myself, I'm a journalist. I worked in a news magazine called L'Hebdo that disappeared a few years ago. I was also in charge of the Geneva Book Fair, so my field is culture and media, and this is also something I will try to have more in Geneva Press Club, media and culture, media writers, and Geneva Press Club has its own working space. So I have a colleague, which is my event manager, and so he's the man like trying to make us our living, because we have to make our own money to live. And I'm in charge of our own events. The events we organize mostly within the human rights fields or within the media or journalism field every autumn. we organize what we call Assises de la Presse. There will be our fourth Assises de la Presse on November 24. It's like a press forum. We invite all the journalists from Suisse romande, French-speaking Switzerland, and we choose a topic and we discuss this. Switzerland, medias in Switzerland, I mean, we are no exception, but we have economical problems. And of course, this is partly due to our online evolution of medias, and this will be our annual discussion topic this November. And we have a workspace, but I also try to organize events all around French-speaking Switzerland so that the Geneva Press Club gets really known all over French-speaking Switzerland, and so that we can organize events and for a broader audience, everyone can come to our talks about journalism. For instance, we have famous literary festivals in Morges every year, and I organized a really good long discussion about cultural journalism, its evolution, and we could also speak to literary editors. So I try to put journalism within on the sur la place publique, as we say, and interest everyone, young people too, so that journalism still keeps to interest everyone, and so we keep reading media. So and I'll be happy maybe to be, it was my first time here. I so love the city. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you very much to you. Thank you very much indeed, Isabel. So it's the turn for the colleagues from Catalonia. Mónica Viñas is coming now. Sure, no. You and Malta, you are Catalonia, the server there. Before, I have to underline that we received an email from Paris from Isabelle Bourdet. Isabelle Bourdet is the General Secretary of the European Federation that is not coming here today because I have an important event in Paris today. They say to us the solidarity and the friendship. So it's the turn for the colleagues from Catalonia. Mónica Viñas.
Hello to everybody. I'm very glad to be here. Well, I manage the services and the training center of the Association of Catalan Journalists. That's the official name, okay? But we also have a press club, okay, to attend foreign journalists. And basically, we organize conferences, seminars, more than 100 courses on different fields per year. We also have working places, especially for freelance and entrepreneurs. And we also organize different communication awards. We have many relationships with other press clubs and associations all over Spain, of course. And well, basically, I think I agree with Julian that the best thing of belong to the federation is to exchange experiences, to learn from others, know how they work, and exchange ideas, initiatives, and have the opportunity to meet once a year and be with other journalists and know how they work, what they want to do, and especially in the case of Galicia, we are honored to be a partner, and if you want any help to develop some initiative or collaborate with anything, we are here and we'll be glad to do it. Okay.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Now is the time for Patricia Krum from Overseas New York Press Club. It's not European, but it's family, and she's an observer of the. So, Patricia, but please very softly because you have to work a little bit.
Yes, I've been working for the Overseas Press Club for 9 years, and I believe before that, for many years, the OPC has been part of the European Association of Press Clubs. But the OPC is over 80 years years old. It was started in 1939 by American journalists who were covering the rise of Hitler and the Spanish Civil War. Went home, they wanted to have a place to get together and just have a club, talk to their compatriots, and one of the first things they did was create awards to honor the work of, at the time, American correspondents who were doing work overseas. So all of our, now we have 22 awards. None of them are about American news. They're all about news outside of the United States. And so we call them in America the Pulitzer Prizes of foreign journalism. And they're very prestigious for the people who win them. There's 3 photography awards, and then the others are, they used to be separated into print, TV. Now it's more by subject matter because media has combined so much. But we also now try to replace support for journalists. In the old days, the news organizations would train their employees. Now, many U.S. news organizations, they don't have bureaus overseas. It's a lot of freelancers. So we do a lot of programs. A few years ago, we focused more on physical safety. Now we've done a lot of programs about psychological safety, how to cope with the stress of covering conflict when you come home. And so now we have a lot of freelancers who work all over the world, and we also provide press IDs if they're members, and people use them to get into press conferences, to get visas. I write a lot of letters helping them get US visas. And we work a lot with organizations like the Rory Peck Trust in England and the Committee to Protect Journalists, and something called A Culture of Safety. It was started about 6 or 7 years ago with news organizations and the Frontline Club and us and freelancers to create programs and provide trainings for safety of journalists, since we all know so many have been killed. And press freedom is a big program for us, but and right now our press freedom chair is trying to write a statement on all the journalists who've been killed in Gaza. And I don't know, perhaps that's one thing that we all together can do. We signed that general declaration last year. Since we don't really have a big staff, it might be complicated, but perhaps we could share, if we make statements, share with other press clubs who could also sign on. And it's been for me, coming to these conferences has been very helpful, and the Warsaw Press Club helped the OPC identify Ukrainian journalists. We gave out $35,000 to Ukrainian journalists at the beginning of this year. We gave $1,000 to like 30 journalists in Ukraine. And I feel bad, they keep writing to me asking, do you have any more help? And I'm like, no, we used all our money. And so now we're looking for new sources of funding to kind of keep up those grants, because not just to Ukraine, but other journalists who need help. And I give the money, I get all the emails, and it makes a big difference to people. Also, psychologically, just knowing that they're not forgotten.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And lastly, some words, please briefly, for our guest from Malta, Matthew Sarep. It's a short name from Maltese language, it's true, complicated for pronunciation, but Matthew come yesterday from London and arrived a little bit surprising, a great surprising to stay here with you, and you must stay here for holidays. So please, just a few hours. Okay, come on, your turn.
Thank you very, very much for inviting me here. As you said, I'm Matthew Schwirep. I'm deputy editor of the Times of Malta, and I'm also the president. And I'm also the president of the Institute of Maltese Journalists. Now, the Institute of Maltese Journalists started off in 1989 as Press Club, so it was the Malta Press Club at the time, and then it evolved, it changed its name into the Institute of Maltese Journalists. And since I took over presidency 3 years ago, I started the process to change the IGM into a trade union, into an official union representing Maltese journalists. As you all know, in 2017, we had the most brutal assassination of one of our journalists, Daphne Caruana Galizia, and the assassination changed completely the gameplay for Maltese journalists. So now what we are involved in is working hard to get things to change in Malta. We need more protection for journalists. We need more rights for journalists. We need big changes in big laws like the Freedom of Information laws, for example, which has so many exceptions for the state not to give you the information that the law is basically there for nothing. Because then we have newsrooms who are spending thousands and thousands of euro just to appeal decisions not to give us information. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to change, I know it's difficult to change a mentality, but we're trying to get the public authorities to change the mentality that you need to give information rather than keep it to yourself, especially when the information is in the public interest. So it's a very big honor and pleasure for me to be here, to exchange information and work practices among like-minded people, because at the end of the day, we are all here for a reason. Luis, you said you're here to protect freedom of speech. We're here to protect freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, freedom of the media, and to keep, as much as we can, the governments away from the media as possible, at arm's length from the media as possible. At the end of the day, we need to work with the governments to change these laws because we are not lawmakers. But the government needs to understand that the press is there to serve as the fourth pillar of democracy, and act as a watchdog on all the other pillars of democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matthew. We fight together against the impunity of the journalists. That's our first target here. So it's the time for our collaborators and from panels, some words to welcome words with Gonzalo Constella, is the director of Santiago Official School of Languages. So please, only 1 minute, so thank you. It's our partner and we share collaboration here and most in the future, we hope. Yeah.
Okay, so good morning again. Just a few words to welcome you again. It's a pleasure for us that you are here again. Well, some of you are again here, but some of you is the first time. We are an institution, an official institution devoted to the teaching and learning of languages. We are close collaborators with this international Galician club press. And I like just to say that I think that journalists and teachers, especially language teachers, we share something very important and a very powerful and peaceful weapon, and that is language, that is words. Allow us to communicate with the rest of the world, but also among ourselves. And I think that we have a special objective, which is to try to help people to help people to understand things and to understand new mentalities, new cultures, and that's why we think that we should collaborate with this institution, with this club. Just wanted to say also that Luis is one of our most brilliant students, and also always ready to cooperate with us and to help purposes. So again, welcome to Santiago, welcome to rainy Galicia. Remember, as I told you before to some of you, in Santiago, they say, the saying goes that rain is art, and when the sun comes, it's poetry. So just enjoy. In this time is going to be also art, but enjoy it. Okay.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo, dear teacher. And finally, we understand Jesus Gamayo. He is in charge of the General Director of Foreign Affairs of the Galicia government and President of Galicia Europe in relationship with the UN. Jesus, as one.
Moitas grazas, Luis.
Muchas gracias.
Moitas grazas pola túa invitación. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'd like to address to you by reading text, because I have to set our position, the position of Galician government in such important issues you have to deal with, you have to discuss. On behalf of the Xunta de Galicia, of Galician government, I'm pleased to welcome you to Santiago de Compostela, the cultural, spiritual center of our region, of its identity and traditions, and, let me say, the ideal place to host such an important event. It's important, firstly, because it brings together the members of an organization whose mission, vision, and founding principles reflect the transcendence of journalistic work in our societies, dedicated to facilitating journalists to carry out their professional activity throughout our continent with the necessary guarantees and means. It's also important, secondly, from Galician's own perspective, because this conference takes place 1 year after Mauritian was accepted in this club through the membership of the Galician International Press Center. A reason for celebration and pride for us, which is increased after having learned that we will assume the next presidency of the Federation, taking over from the London Press Club, represented here by Mr. Martin Bond, to whom I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks. As you can see, for us this meeting is of crucial importance. We would like to take advantage of it to reaffirm our commitment safeguarding press freedom and protecting journalists, fighting against censorship, manipulation, and the precariousness of the profession. We truthfully share our values and ideals embodied by the figure of the journalist, the true guardian of our democracies and ways of life. As you know, quality information and the existence of independent journalism are essential to our democratic systems. The popular sovereignty on which they are established is empty when it's reduced to a simple attribution, not being paired with the ability of the citizenry to perceive and differentiate the true from the false. Disinformation paves the way for the emergence of populism, authoritarianism, and radicalization, especially in today's information societies. That's why we are convinced about the key role journalists play in enabling the population to develop a critical sense that informs their opinions, preferences, and decisions with verified information based on facts. Nevertheless, although we are all aware of it, in the age of globalization, more and more obstacles arise between citizens and the access to the truth of events. The European Union has been working for some time now to calm these threats, with initiatives as the Action Plan Against Disinformation, the Action Plan for Democracy, or the more recent Digital Services Act, as well as other tools that seek both to safeguard freedom of expression and protect citizens and institutions against disinformation and fake news. But there is work to be done. The use of algorithms, automation, and artificial intelligence is amplifying disinformation campaigns
and other related online activities. And the public sector response must constantly adapt to new challenges. Regional and local public administrations have also taken a step forward to address these challenges, aware that, being the level of government closest to the citizen, we have great potential to build resilience and social cohesion in the face of hoaxes of post-truth. Galicia, through the Commission of Citizenship, Governance and Institutional and External Affairs of the European Committee of Regions, has been participating in the European dialogue process around disinformation, with initiatives such as the Handbook of Good Practice in countering disinformation at the local and regional levels. We believe that a cooperative approach between levels of government, administrations, and civil society is vital. Public institutions alone cannot stop these threats, which are cross-cutting and affect different dimensions of our society. In order to do so, journalism itself must first be empowered, characterized in many cases by job insecurity, insufficient salaries, precarious contracts, scarce means, and little autonomy in the exercise of their work. Difficulties that jeopardize the professionalism and independence of their activity, as well as the great social work they perform. Today, we wish to reiterate our solid commitment to this esteemed organization, fostering European collaboration in press and communication affairs, and to the noble profession of journalism. We all have great challenges and opportunities, and the European Press Club Federation is an example of how to overcome and seize them through cooperation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, General Director Jesus Gamayo. So that sends for declaration for us on behalf of our board of our local association of journalists in Santiago. Thank you very much. I insist. Thank you for welcome here. We stay here, some people of the board, David, Camila, Julia Campo on the bottom is vice president. We'll introduce her immediately because she works so much on television, have not enough time for coming here, but now she's here. And Pastor Lorenzo, our close friends and co-director, we share responsibilities in that press club. She's for more cooperation and more public relations. And me, as manager, it's worse for me because I must pay the fine, the penalties, and also go to the jail probably. So please protect me as soon as possible, right? Thank you very much. We'll see you on the town hall. After the town hall, no, before we have a meeting now, I have to work so much, please. And a lunch about 1 p.m., I think. So. Thank you very much, colleague. Thank you. You have to come back to your country. For example, Isabelle. Très bien, merci. Bon voyage. Au revoir. Merci. Au revoir.